Ahoy there, it is Jake from Nimbus DevOps, and we are going to be going over anonymous functions. So one last type of function that we're going to go over is this weird anonymous one, and these functions are called lambdas in Python. And they're usually used when a fully fledged function with its own name would be kind of overkill, and all we want is like a quick, simple one-liner that does the job. So imagine you want to list all the numbers up to a certain value of, we'll call it n, that are multiples of 5. And you could use a filter function for this, which would require a function and an iterable as some sort of input. And the return value is a filter object when you iterate over it that yields an element from the input iterable for which the function returns true. So without using an anonymous function, you might do something like, I'm going to define is multiple of 5, pass a number n, and then say return not n mod 5. And then I could define get multiples of 5 with some kind of n and say I want you to return a list, and we're going to filter the is, hey, go away, is multiple of 5 in a range whatever n is, and that would be one way of doing it. So notice how I use multiple of 5 to filter the n natural numbers, which is a little excessive, right? The task is simple. You don't need to keep is multiple of 5 around. So we could rewrite this in a lambda way. So let's rewrite this. So let me put lambda away so you remember what that is, lambda. Okay, so let's say I wanted to define get multiples of 5. Okay, and I'm going to do an n and say I want you to return a list and filter lambda, okay, lambda k not k mod 5 range n. And that does the same thing. So instead of having this here, like I don't really need this, I'm just kind of inserting that here. So I need you to filter, and instead of calling this, I can just like write it like a little one-liner real quick. Okay, optional parameters indicate following common syntax, wrapping them in a square bracket. So we can do that if you want to. So you could pass like a parameter list or something. But yeah, I'll give you a couple of different examples. So let's say that we want to do define adder a b, and we just want to return a plus b. Okay, so now we're going to make an adder lambda, and we're just going to say lambda a b is just a plus b. Okay, so that's the same thing. Okay, another example would be like define to upper some sort of string, and we just want to return s dot upper. You could do it that way, or you could say to upper lambda is what I'm going to call this, is just equal to lambda s colon s dot upper, and that does also same thing there. So they're very simple. So if you do need a little one-liner, this anonymous function, it's called lambda, and you can use lambda to insert into your functions in a place where you just don't want a ton of tiny functions. So it's still easy to read. Like looking at this, adder lambda is just, I just need to say lambda a b, and I'm going to say a plus b. So there you go. Yeah, and these can be inserted, as you saw in the previous example, inside of a function. You can just have two functions that reference functions. I should have deleted that so you can see it. So in this example, you can see why it's a lot simpler. But anyways, yeah, so this is lambda, the anonymous function.